Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is finally that time of the year again where we get to bring you one of the more fun things that we do with our lives. Welcome to BRPtv. Once again, 2023-24 is upon us. This next season of the BRP iRacing series, these big block modifieds on iRacing. It is always a pleasure to bring it to you, and it is always a pleasure to have the wonderful Jonathon Howe. Aside of me, my name is Joe Donohue. You may remember us. We were goofballs last season, and we're goofballs again this season. Jonathon, it's been, I can't say it's the off-season because we have real race cars in real life, but it's been the off-season of this series for a while. How have you been? How have things been going for you at Merrittville?
Pretty good, honestly. It was a great season over at Merrittville. Lots of action, lots of tight racing amongst all the classes. We actually just had our awards banquet this past Saturday. So you say it is the off season. It really feels like the off season north of the border here for us. But thankfully, when one season ends, I get to come on Monday nights and jump onto a whole new season, and I cannot wait for this one. I think we're going to have a couple of new characters, new cast of characters, some returning favorites, lots of change, but change for the good, I would say, with this series. And who knows what 2023 and 2024 is going to hold for us, but this is where it all gets going.
For sure. Absolutely. Yeah, it's been, it hasn't been a very long off season down here in Pennsylvania for me. We had our final sprint car race of the season at Baps Motor Speedway 2 days ago, and so now I'm hunkering down over here, but there were modifieds there too. Actually, I saw a modified race this past weekend, which is kind of rare for my neck of the woods. But yeah, we've been spending the off season trying to get things rolling here with BRPtv, update the graphics, update everything going on with the series, and update each other on each other's lives, and to use that segue as perfectly as possible. What we're going to do for the rest of the program here is we're going to go through sort of as media day. We're going to talk to the individuals who we will see throughout this season racing these big block modifieds. We'll go one at a time, so we'll give them just a little bit of time to talk about their off season, what's coming for them, or talk about last season. And the first person that we're going to get to talk to is one of the guys who's better known in this series. He had a sensational year last year, and he runs the darn thing. Matt DeRitter, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. How's it going, guys?
Hey, Matt, always a pleasure to have you here with us. Talk to us a little bit about this off-season for you. It's been very developmental for MDR Designs and Murder Graphics, and you've had a little bit of time to maybe get things turned up a little bit and get a couple more wins out of this season than you did last.
Yeah, I think it's just been a whole time of growth and trying to build new things, and one of those is the BRP iRacing series. So, just trying to step up the game with the graphics and branch out a little more, sort of get things more organized.
Absolutely.
Now, you mentioned those graphics. Sorry to just
No, you
step
go
on
ahead,
there,
Jonathan.
Joe, but I'm literally staring at this 03 car, and it's just beautiful. A little change up there. Talk to us about designing these cars. I know you're responsible for more than a few of the designs out there throughout this year. So, what's your favorite? What scheme have you made so far that you may be exceptionally proud of so far?
Oh, it's got to be this one. I got to have that bias here, but yeah, I think this is definitely one of my best so far for myself, and I think just in general. But I don't know. It's kind of hard to pick. There's a lot of good ones. I think I just did. I don't know. I've done 3 the past day trying to get things set up, and got a couple more to do. But I don't know. It's been fun trying to spend a little more time on it. Sort of just like I said, up the quality and sort of just cement myself with big blocks. I think on iRacing, they're definitely cars I like to paint and. Get to do more moving forward. So the series and the guys in this series support me, so supporting them with good-looking cars is the best I can do.
That's what we like to hear, Matt. Well, we're going to try to keep the program rolling here as we talked about beforehand, but great to have you here. Excited to see what you've got in store for us with this nice-looking car this coming season.
Thanks, guys. It's going to be a great season. And can't wait to see you guys again sometime.
Absolutely. We'll be talking to you this season. I'm sure you'll get up into the podium a couple times.
Sounds good.
All right. And there is Matt DeRitter, one of the hosts of the series. And we'll go ahead and bring in the next driver on our list. I think let's go ahead and bring in the teach. Jonathon, if you want to introduce everybody to our friend Pat Reiser.
Hey, Pat Reiser, you got a copy, my friend, and hopefully you do, because I think we missed out on you last year. Is that the story? Well, maybe we don't have a copy yet, Joe. Hang on.
Pat, come
Pat
on,
Reiser,
man.
you got us? I know he's in. I can see him in our chat, but I can't hear him.
Can't hear him. Let's go ahead and get him back up there. Give him a second to. Oh, wait a minute. He's wrecking here. He might be going to give us a little. Give him 1 second here to see if he comes in. There he is.
Oh.
Am I here?
There he is.
Hey, there we go.
Hey. Sorry about that, boys.
There you go. Hey, it's all good.
No
Pat.
worries.
Bring it
Well,
to us.
Teach almost missed out. Yeah, you almost missed out on your interview. No, you missed us, or we missed you, I guess, last year, right, when we were doing the interviews, Joe. And then now we've got the Teach here and now. So talk to us about how your season's been away from I guess our off season, and talk to us about how excited you are about getting back behind the wheel here.
Well, I'm glad that you brought it up because I wasn't gonna. I know you guys are busy. You got way more things going on than I do. But yeah, no, everything's been as good as they could be. I mean, you're always looking for a little bit more. As a driver, you're always selfish. You could always grab a few more here and steal a few more there. But did some traveling. Made some memories with Pop, and you never break even, but you certainly try to. So everything's good. Happy to kind of tuck the car away and kind of start hitting the drawing board for how we can get this thing better. At least. Oh, what was that? I gotta write that car down.
Getting taken out.
Yeah. Yeah. So just happy to be here. Love supporting Beef. Love supporting Matt and everybody that comes and hang out on Monday night. Because I was kind of like thinking about this going in. Listen, if I'm not gonna win any races or kind of make any noise, I'll be a damn good interview. I take notes from Jack Hewitt. So, we'll see what we can get done here this year, boys.
Absolutely, Pat. Well, you got plenty for us. Maybe a little more under the hood for the rest of this season, but it's a pleasure to have you up here with us. We'll definitely try to get you in the booth a couple more times. You're going to keep the program rolling tonight and keep them rolling. But, brother, absolutely a pleasure to have you with us for this season.
Absolutely, and thanks for taking the time and doing such a great job. There's a reason why we want the best, and the reason why you're here. So appreciate everything you guys do. Try to have some fun tonight, and yeah, talk to you guys later.
Absolutely. You take it easy, Pat.
See ya.
And he was talking to you, by the way, Jonathon, when he talked about having the best in here that we could.
Oh, stop. Don't start with me.
Yeah,
Joe, you're a big part of putting this whole thing on. I'm just, you called me handsome. It's not like anybody could really see me when I'm behind the mic.
Oh,
here,
they don't need to, brother. They don't need to.
I think we brought somebody in, though. We brought somebody in who's pretty handsome in his own right, and I've missed seeing this guy, but I'm happy that he's back doing this BRP iRacing series. Joe, let's bring in Ryan Susi to the show.
Yeah, we got him.
What's happening, guys?
Hey, pleasure to have you, Ryan. Brought you in here. Happy to have you back this season. Things are looking good for you and your new little family you got going on.
Yeah, we're little man's getting bigger and stronger every day, and starting to trying to find his voice here the last couple days, trying to get some squeaks out, but it's definitely awesome. Parenthood will open your eyes to the rest of the world, that's for sure. Obviously, I'm sure most people know kind of the situation we were in, and didn't get to do a lot of real racing last summer, but we're going to hit some iRacing here in the winter, and then we'll get back at the real stuff come April.
Absolutely, my guy. If he's getting his strength from anybody, probably you, and that goes for the real world and the racing scene here. Talk to us a little bit about what's coming for you this season, what your expectations are. We got one win out of you last year, I believe, at Volusia halfway through the season. I'm wrong. That was Limaland. But you got one out of you last year. Do you think you have a little more under the hood this time?
I haven't even turned this thing on other than we had one practice race a couple weeks ago since last season, so my expectations are pretty low. Generally, I just come out on Mondays to hang out with the boys and chirp each other in the Discord chat. Oh, I just junked the car, but yeah, it's just a lot of fun. Appreciate Beef and everybody, Matt, everybody, you guys that take the time to do this. It's seems like after COVID, it got really rare. During COVID, it got really popular. It was kind of dying off a little bit, but it's still good to hang out on Monday nights virtually with all the buddies that we made. And, get a little racing in, get to hone the skills a little bit for the outdoor stuff. But yeah, just basically just like to have fun. So we'll see.
Absolutely, brother.
Awesome.
Yeah, like to keep it sharp there, my guy. We'll watch you to keep it sharp the rest of the way through the season here, and good luck the rest of the way through. Have a blast tonight, and we'll definitely be talking to you again in not too long.
Yeah, I appreciate
go
it,
Bills.
guys. Go Bills. That's what I was going to finish with.
There
So
you go. Beautiful. There you go. Take it easy, Ryan.
yeah, we'll see it.
And next up, we got another Ryan. Jonathon, I'm going to let you take the reins on this one. I actually got to run over there and pick my phone up off the charger. But nonetheless, we're going to get to talk to somebody, or you're going to get to talk to somebody who's very precedented, and I know a lot of people are going to want to hear from Ryan Beagle. So we'll hand you the big dog.
The big dog, the defending champ, Ryan Beagle. You got a copy, my friend?
I think this thing's working.
Hey, there we go. Yeah, I gotcha. All right, so talk to us about coming back to the BRP series. How confident you feeling? You had a pretty... You were pretty, I guess, quiet, going into last year and about how good you are, just kind of like how you are even in a street stock. But you got to have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder. I think you got some motivation to defend this title, right?
I guess so. I think there's a lot of new guys coming in and a lot of guys coming back. So we'll see where we stack up. Hopefully somewhere close to the front like last year. But I don't know. We'll just roll with it and hopefully come out on top again.
So talk to us about the season on the track, because it was a pretty solid year, I would say, overall for the 84 RK in the street stocks around Southern Ontario. Came up a little bit short, I know, at Oshweekend in that track championship, but still overall you got to be pretty happy with how things went in the street stock, right?
Yeah, it was an awesome year. We won quite a few big races and helped pay some bills. So I can't complain. The last night there at Oshweekend kind of sucked with the championship deal, but it is what it is. We'll try again next year. But yeah, it was fun and it was a good time.
And what are you looking forward to on the calendar so far this year? Is there any tracks you've got circled that you feel like, all right, I feel pretty confident in this 84 car. I think I can get it done.
I've always run good here at Charlotte, and I see they're going back to Kokomo, and I like rolling the bottom at Kokomo. That's the most fun thing to do in one of these things, I think. But other than that, it looks status quo, same as last year. So hopefully it's fun.
Absolutely.
Awesome. All right.
That's great.
There's Joe. I was wondering
Yeah.
if Joe was coming back.
I wanted to make sure that you knew I was back here, Jonathon. Yeah, Ryan, hey, congratulations again for last year. We're going to be looking to see what you can do and see if you can back it up again this time.
Thanks. Yeah, it's going to be tough. There's a lot of good guys running this deal, and yeah, hopefully we're talking to you guys often.
Yes, sir. Well, I think we will, but for the meantime, take it easy tonight, brother.
Thanks.
And beautiful. Ryan Beagle, the big dog. And next up, Jonathon, let's go ahead and we'll bring him in, talk to a guy out of my neck of the woods here down on the south side of the border. We got Dean Meitzler in the booth with us. Dean, you got a copy?
Yep, I do. How you doing?
Dean, car's looking as good as ever, brother. The thing looks sick. Is that the ride for this season?
Yes, sir.
Oh, beautiful. Well, Dean, you are one of the most loyal people of this series. Every year, you're a consistent driver. Not maybe the winner every week, but definitely a winner in my heart. I might be a little biased. But talk to us about what you've got in store for us this year. Do you think you have contention for any specific races or tracks that you think you really got down pat this time around?
I've just been doing a lot of practicing in the off season, a bunch of different tracks, and getting more familiar with the VR headset, trying to be able to judge the walls better, be able to be tighter in the turns, and really get up behind the guys, and hopefully actually pull off a win this year.
I could see it. I believe, if I remember correctly, you added the VR to your system before the end of last season. Is that correct? Did you had it for a few weeks last year?
Yeah, towards the end of the season.
Yeah, talk about how that develops your racecraft in this simulator and how it changes things for you.
It actually changed it drastically. I'm able to judge the distance to the wall and cars in front of me. Before, I was struggling with my distances with the cars, didn't want to spin anybody out. Now I have a better judgment of where the front of my car is to the rear of the car in front of me, and my distance between the wall and my rear.
That's just practice makes perfect in that case, brother. It's very good to hear, though. That's definitely something that I've talked to other drivers and other people who use this game. The simulator is your abilities are increased with that VR. You get to look around a little more and everything. So that's good to hear.
Absolutely.
We're looking forward to seeing what you have in store for us. That car looks good. I think I mentioned that already, but it just looks good. I like the blue. Take it easy, Deed. We'll keep the program rolling here. We got plenty of people to talk to, but always a pleasure to have you
Great.
with us. We're really excited to see what you got in store for us this year, brother.
I am too. Looking forward to it.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me on.
Yes, thank you, Dean. Beautiful. And next, we get to bring in a rookie. We'll bring in Nick Sheridan. I don't remember exactly. I think somebody told me he might have been out of PA, but Jonathon, I'll hand him to you. You might know this guy a little bit better than I do.
Nick Sheridan out of PA? Not exactly.
Nope,
He's,
wrong name.
I believe, out of a championship stable, if you will, because I believe your iRacing setup is parked in the old MBR 71 shop right now, Nick?
That's true, Jonathan. Yeah, she's here, and we're wheeling in her.
Yeah, well, obviously, Mike Bowman, pretty great racing season for him in the sprint cars and the 360s around here, but you didn't have a bad season yourself. Captured a win over the summer, had some great runs. Talk to us about your driving in the real world before we get into this iRacing thing.
Yeah, the 45 team, we're really working hard to figure out the sprint car stuff. I've been doing it for a few years, like myself and my family and that. So, this year we started out pretty rough. We blew a couple motors and had a really rough start to the year. But near the end, we kind of started figuring some stuff out and we started coming along good. So, won a race there at Brighton, which was fun, and ran full time last weekend. And we'll aim to do the same stuff next year and hopefully run all the races and go for a ship.
Well, how about jumping into the modifieds in the iRacing world now? I don't think you've got much, if any, experience, if at any at all, in the real world in a modified, but what about in the iRacing? You got some confidence, or are you basically a rookie in this stuff too?
To be honest with you, Jonathan, I don't come on iRacing very often, and when I do, I just run whenever is fixed and fun. So I don't have a whole lot of experience in anything, but I've been running a little more of these modifieds recently, and I'm starting to kind of figure out how they drive. I feel like I can keep them pretty smooth, but always half a tenth slow, and it kind of makes me mad. But we're going to keep working at that, and hopefully we can get that figured out soon. But no, I feel like we got some confidence. I think we'll have some speed. Just it's going to be a learning curve for sure.
Well, it's a great-looking 45 ride. Enjoy the season, and good luck in the rookie season here, buddy.
Appreciate it, John. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, that's on me. Messed that one up where he's from. I knew that. I knew he was out working with the MBR crew down there. But nonetheless, new name there. And another new name here. Dominic Roselli joins us in the booth. Dominic, you got a copy?
Yeah, we're good, man.
Oh, Dominic, welcome. It is nice to have you in here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, things that this crowd on BRPtv may not necessarily know about you quite yet.
Just another local racer. Been racing for like 15 years now. Starting go-karts, just kind of worked my way up. Just ran like usually Southern Tier, Middletown, usually weekly, and just kind of done that for a few years now, and kind of trying to branch out. Ran a little bit of dirt stuff this year, and just kind of hit around. But yeah, that's about it.
And talk to us about your background in iRacing. A lot of guys come in here with some racing experience. Sometimes it translates, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes they have a lot of iRacing background in the off-season regularly. Talk to us a little bit about where you stand on that slide and what you expect out of this series over the next coming, 22 or 23 weeks?
Yeah, something like that. But I really don't have much. I kind of get on when I can. I mean, I'm sure just like some of the other guys who race in here, once the summer hits, it's all racing and it's all working on a race car. So I don't really get to get on as much as I'd like to, but it's kind of translates from go-kart stuff. So I had a lot of go-kart experience. I ran go-karts for like 12 years before moving up to a sportsman. So I kind of see the translation go hand in hand between iRacing and that.
Well, you've got a very developed portfolio of experience there, my guy. It looks like you've got a lot that can carry over and carry you to some good finishes this season.
Yeah, I mean, I'd hope so. You know, a lot of these guys have been doing this for a while, so it would be hard to beat. I mean, Cody runs real good. Cody Higby runs real good in that. He kicked my butt last year down in Middletown, so I don't know. It might be some more of the same thing.
Well, hey, it's a pleasure to have you here joining us this season, Dominic. We're excited to see what you've got under the hood and what's in store for you. And, yeah, it's great to meet you, and we'll be talking to you again sometime this season, I'm sure.
Same as well. I hope so. Thank you.
And that is Dominic Rosselli, a new name to the series. And here's a name that's not new to the series, Jonathan. You get the immense honor of talking to the one and only Dean Reynolds.
Oh, got an honor?
Hey, of course it is, Diener. I mean, you're coming off of a pretty busy season. You were down in Charlotte yourself not too long ago. So talk to us about life on the Super Dirt Car Series Tour and running that series.
Well, we had a really good year. I mean, once we had to fight the weather bug there at the beginning of the year, then we got in a roll to get some races in. And, then watching the two Matts go at it, hammer and tong there, it was a lot of fun. But Matt Shepard got his 10th championship, and Matt Williamson was right there until the final race. So we had a good year though in the Super Dirt Car Series. A lot of fun. We had 16 guys do all the races and everything. It looks like we're going to sign a few more this year.
Awesome. I love to hear that. Diener, talk to us about the new look ride too. A little black and purple in that 79 machine. Any extra horsepower added from the new look or what?
I wish. I don't know. I think I joined a little later than everybody, but I'm looking at the times and I'm like, I'm the third slowest, and I'm like, geez, I better get my butt in gear here. But no, we got a new look. Ross Carenta from Velocity Designs did this wrap. I also have a white one that we might this year, so we might mix them up a little bit. But I like it. Real simple, colorful. Of course, got black and purple, which are my colors, and a little bit of gold on it.
I love it. All right, buddy. Well, enjoy the rest of practice. Go and find some speed out there, and we'll catch up with you hopefully at some point on the podium throughout the season.
Well, I'd like to. Hopefully we can back up that win we got at Williams Grove, but I'd like to thank them for not putting Williams Grove back on their schedule, but we'll give them hell this year. We're going to have a lot of fun. And thanks to you guys for all you do for the league.
Awesome. I love it. That's Dean Reynolds, driver in the number 79. Joe, I mean, who we got next? We're flying through them now.
We're trying to keep everybody in the game here, and one of the guys we're going to get to talk to next is, I'm actually really excited to talk to Brian Berger. Mr. Berger, we got a copy.
Hey, guys.
Hey, we're doing good, Brian. How are you?
Good now. It took me a while to get my setup working here, but I'm all set now.
That's good. Yeah, when we remember last season, you had a very temporary setup where we started off the actual racing season, and you had your whole shindig set up. I don't think I still have a picture of it, but if you're back in the saddle here, what are you expecting out of this season? Do you think we're going to get to see that 60 car out here the whole way through, all 20 races?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'll make everyone, but it's pretty much all of them. Last year I was away for 8 weeks down in Florida. This year we're not going, so should be able to make most of the races and look forward to getting back in the saddle.
Absolutely. And talk a little bit about that in between from the iRacing scene back to the real world and then on to iRacing again. How'd the summer go for you? What kept you busy this time, Mr. Berger?
Yeah, I mean, we ran mostly Lebanon Valley. Did, I think, a night or two at Albany, Saratoga. And it was funny because we weren't supposed to be running. We were retired, but had a lot of spare time. So and had some money come up, so we were able to get out there and race, and actually had a pretty good season considering we didn't make every race. We ran pretty well.
Absolutely, you did, and I am very glad to hear that the money comes to you. I guess you just couldn't quite get that itch off your back. But pleasure to have you racing in the real world, and a pleasure to have you racing with us here this season. We're looking forward to talking to you again as the season goes on. But as always, Brian, we thank you for your loyalty and coming out with this series whenever you can. It definitely helps us with BRPtv. It helps the BRP iRacing series, and it's just nice to have you.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's great to be here. I think this is the 5th year or 5th season. It's been a great ride, and it's a great group of guys, and happy to be here.
Absolutely, Brian. You take it easy tonight, and we'll be talking to you again soon.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Awesome. And that is Mr. Berger. Always just a classy guy. I always love talking to Brian. But Jonathan, we're going to bring in another Rosselli here for you. We're going to get one of the brother, I believe, of the Dominic. We're going to get Anthony in here. Let's get him in, and I'll hand him to you.
Anthony, you got a copy, my friend?
Yes, I do.
Awesome. All right, well, talk to us about what is going to be a sharp-looking ride. Already, I can see that machine standing out amongst this field of cars. Talk to us a little bit about that wrap and how you're feeling so far in this early media day test session.
Yeah. Well, I went to Matt, of course. He does some amazing work, but right off the bat, see on the quarter panel on the back that House's Speed Setup Shop. I'm a house driver for them, so I always got to represent them. Then I got the rest of the family sponsors that we've always had on the car for years on end that we got to put on. So it's kind of just a mix of classic and modern setups, or sponsors, I should say, not setups.
Well, talk to us about that House of Speed and being a house driver for them.
Yeah, no, I recently came on. Well, the builder asked me a couple months ago to come on, and it's been it was a little bit of a learning curve at first because you're running with a lot of tougher guys on the sim, but it definitely it's definitely a nice thing to have later in time. Just learning a whole lot over this past couple months. Definitely seen myself progress on the sim a whole lot. Get meet a lot of cool people, but you also get some killer setups from House of Speed as well.
Awesome. Well, you're looking pretty stout on the leaderboard right now. 6th fastest lap overall on my chart. So enjoy the rest of this test session, and thanks for coming on, and keep that 7 towards the front.
Thank you, man.
You're right, Jonathan. That is a sharp-looking race car. I love pink highlights.
It's so nice.
Yeah, that looks good.
I don't normally think to put pink on a car, but that is sharp.
Yeah, that is sharp. And Matt always does a great job with the paints. And I'm excited to see that car out on track. Another car I'm excited to see out on track, though, is the driver of the 84 car, and he's in the booth, and he's avoiding an absolute catastrophe in Turn 4 right now. Dan Sider, you got a copy with us?
I do, sir.
All right. There he is. Dan, it is a pleasure to have you back. We have you in kind of sparingly. I think last season, I can pull up the numbers. How many races do we have in for Mr. Sider last season? Only 4. So are we going to be seeing a little more out of you this season, or are we just trying to get in when we can?
No, absolutely. You should see me for the full season this year. Last year we had some work issues and kind of conflicted with the race schedule, but this year I should be back full time.
That's what we like to hear. That 84 car always looking pretty good. Now tell us about the in-between here. You talk about your work issues, and obviously we had the summertime off. What's kept Dan Sider ticking until we got back onto the sim tonight?
Lots of towing out at Maryville Speedway and Humberstone Speedway. Working with Field Trip Race Recovery out there. It's a lot of fun out there.
Absolutely great. I have a big appreciation for people like you, Dan, who go out and try to help out like that. We need our push truck drivers in Pennsylvania, but everybody needs the wrecker crews and the safety teams. So we appreciate that you do that for your local scene. And what do you have in store for us with this local scene, this little BRP iRacing series? Where maybe some tracks you're expecting to do well, or little tricks up your sleeve you maybe want to share with us?
Well, really for me, it's trying to get the track slick. The slicker the track, I see you can do better on it. So for really the shorter tracks, Charlotte's pretty good for me. Cedar Lake, Weedsport, stuff like that. Bigger tracks I'm not as good at. So really I'm just looking to try to keep the car in the top 10 this year. Would be an accomplishment for me. But, if we can squeak out a win, I'd be even happier.
Hey, we could very easily see it. I could see that happening, Dan. You've always come out with us and do really well. I would say one of the more I don't want to say conservative, but maybe safe drivers is a good word to use. You're rarely involved in the catastrophes of the rest of some of these guys who race with us. Who said that? But it's always a pleasure to have you, Dan. Thank you for supporting the series. We'll let you continue on with this practice session tonight. Get yourself ready for 20 races with the BRP iRacing series.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Take it easy, Dan. And next up is going to be the driver of the number 31 car. And I'm trying to get him in here. And oh, actually, I'm sorry. I thought he was coming in. Jonathon, you're gonna get your co-host.
All right, TC, you got a copy, my friend, my podcast co-host.
Copy.
Hey, there it is. Yeah, we can almost actually hear you. A little earlier in the night, we could barely hear you on the mic. You're still a little quiet, but that's all right. We can go with it. TC, how are you feeling? You got the Southern Ontario Dirt Show ride back on the racetrack. The 90s looking sharp. How are we feeling?
Yeah, I was just remembering how good this car looks. Thanks again to our boy Matty DeRitter for hooking me up last year with this hot rod. And yeah, big block only this year, so that'll be fun. I like that one better more than the small block last year. So yeah, just trying to stay out of the way and not wreck too many people, and hopefully snag a top 10 or two.
Now, you're very opinionated when it comes to running your sprint car about what tracks you like, which ones you don't, which ones you run best at. What are you circling on the iRacing calendar for us that is feeling pretty good and maybe up your wheelhouse this season?
The ones that I like? Oh, man, the very first one. Volusia is one of my best tracks, I'd say. So I go with Volusia, and there's a couple at Eldora this year. One of them is the Gary Cunningham Virtual Gary Cunningham. So Eldora, I like that one. It's one of the funner tracks on the game. Fairbury's fun. I hate Kokomo. That one's on the schedule this year. Yeah.
I love that you've got you. You're never shy on an opinion, and if you listen to the Southern Ontario Dirt Show podcast, you know that TC is no stranger to a rant either. So, thanks for coming on. Thanks for doing another season in this and representing our podcast so well. And we'll chat. I will chat at work tomorrow.
Yeah, sweet. See you then. Thanks for having me.
There he is, Travis Cunningham, my co-host on the Southern Ontario Dirt Show podcast, 360 sprint car driver around Southern Ontario, and Joe, one of my good pals. Who we got up next, buddy?
Well, I think we're down to the beefer himself here. Apologies to anybody who maybe couldn't quite hear what TC was saying, but if there's somebody who I would trust that would make sure you can hear him, it is Corby Daniels. How are we doing tonight, brother?
What's going on, boys?
It is a pleasure to have you up here with us, Corby. You're the man behind the scenes for a lot of the things that go on with this series. We've had a fair off-season. Maybe talk to us a little bit about what you did this off-season, because you had a pretty happening time this season in the real world season, that is.
Yeah. This season switched over to working on sprint cars from mods. Working for MBR, Mike Bowman Racing, with the 71 team. And we had a killer year, Mike's best year ever, 14 wins, won a ton of money and big races out at Oswego. So in his rookie year in 360, so it was cool to be a part of that. And hopefully we can keep it rolling in the next season and head stateside and try and cash more big checks.
Oh, if you come stateside, boy howdy, I'll see you there. Let's talk about that with your racing season in the real world. We come back to this racing season, and like I said, Beef Racing Productions, beef, so it's in the name. So talk to us a little bit about your expectations, your goals, whether for BRPtv or for yourself on the track. What are you really looking for and looking forward to with this 2023 to 24 season?
Well, first off for the series, I'm excited. We got some new things we're going to be trying this season. We're going to have our first ever 200-lap race. Kind of do like a mock-up race of Super Dirt Week for the modified, so that's going to be fun. Got some new faces in here this season in the roster, so that should shake things up a little bit. But we also got all the good guys returning, everybody that supports the series, so happy to see everybody come back. The schedule is looking pretty good for this season. I think we've laid it out pretty good on lap wise and going to different tracks. So, and there's a couple new tracks that weren't in the service last season that we're going to be going to this season. So it's going to be interesting, you know. Hopefully we can just have that tight points battle like we did last season and see who can come out on top. For myself, I'm really not expecting a whole lot. Just out here to have fun. So if I can, you know, score maybe a couple top 10s or something, that would be good for me.
Absolutely, Corby. We're always excited to have you out there, and we can get a good finish out of you here once or twice. But yeah, it's, you know, for Jonathon and I know I can speak on behalf of Matt DeRitter too. Like we really do have a lot of fun with this series, and you put a lot of work into it. But we've also had a couple people behind the scenes helping us, whether it's with, you know, the graphics or sponsorship or just supporting the series in general. We didn't start the broadcast off by throwing them out there. I feel like I would be more than happy to give you the honors if there are some partners and sponsors of BRP that we need to shout out and thank for what's coming this season.
Yeah, for sure. We got a couple of returning sponsors. We got Creative Turnings, Dig Racing Products. They're coming back on board again this season. Obviously, Matt at MDR Designs. He's also got his new MRDR Murder Graphics for doing all his custom paints and stuff like that. All the boys here at BRPtv, obviously, it's a big deal to be able to broadcast this in-house on our own and do things the way we want to do it. And then also Southern Ontario Dirt Show, Jonathon and Travis jumping on board and supporting the series. Helps out a lot doing getting us out there, doing weekly recaps on their podcasts. Helps bring in the fans and lets everybody know where to be on Monday nights at 8 o'clock.
Absolutely. Well, hopefully we'll get to the point where everybody knows where to be. That's right here with us. But Corby, we got you here with us for the season. It's a pleasure to have you. We're excited to see what you've got in store for us. Good luck.
Awesome. Thanks, boys.
Yes, sir. And also, do we have anybody else to interview here in this train, or are we on a pause?
No, I believe that is everybody that came out tonight. Tonight was optional, so not everybody was here, but you'll see pretty close to the full 30 guys next week.
Sounds good.
So.
If anybody else pops in over there in the driver's chat, just throw them down in the interview waiting room. We'll pull them in as necessary if anybody decides to show up late.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Corby. Well, Jonathon, darn tootin', we did it, brother. We got through all of them.
Wow. Yeah, we rushed right through them. We got
did.
everybody there. Got them some screen time. Got them some lap times out there. A couple guys still out there running around. But overall, I guess should we make some predictions? Do you want to make any championship guesses, anything like that, Joe?
Yeah, we should make some predictions about the season. I definitely we haven't really hit the schedule yet, too. We need to do that, and I think those are pretty much the only two things left that I find important to hit on there. Do you think it'd be better to start with the schedule, or do you want to go for some predictions first?
Let's dive into the schedule first, because then we can really start to maybe line up in our heads. And it's like, okay, we can see that guy running well there. We can see this guy running well here and there, you know. So
sure.
I say let's dive into the schedule.
Sure. So let's start them off. So we got it up on the screen here for you guys watching along on YouTube. Which, by the way, I know I haven't really called it out yet, but we want to thank everybody who's here tonight. We definitely appreciate the support the whole way through the season. But even just to come out with Media Day, that is commitment. We appreciate it. So this season is going to start off, obviously, outside of tonight here for Media Day, with, as it always does, the Pete Costco Memorial Race. That is going to be 117 laps at Volusia Speedway Park, same racetrack as last time when we started last year's season off. The Axton Strong 60 will be the following week at Lernerville Speedway in Sarver, Pennsylvania. The Axton Strong 60 in reference to Ryan Susie's little homeboy, little hero, I'd say. And then after that, we go to Limaland to start off December with the Slight Electrical 100. After that comes Cedar Lake, a 75-lapper at one of my more favorite racetracks, I'd say, in the simulator. Then we add Kern County Raceway Park on December 18th. That is the new track that the Beef made mention of in his interview. Kern County Raceway has a 1/3 oval for dirt and a half mile for pavement, I believe. and so we will be going there for the first time with the series. Then we're going to have 2 weeks off for the Christmas and New Year's holidays. Then we bring it back with the Creative Turnings Battle at the Port. That will be Weedsport Speedway on January 8th. Then we go to Lucas Oil Speedway, which was a great race last year, so that will be one to tune in for. And after that comes the Cyber Nationals, the 47 Technology Cyber Nationals, going to be held at Port Royal for 75 laps this year. We go to Knoxville for 60 laps the following week, and then after that going to Fairbury for 100 laps around that little quarter mile. After there, we go to the Gary Cunningham Memorial. Always a big race for our Canadian friends like Jonathon himself, and obviously Travis Cunningham in the 90 car. So that's February 12th, 75 laps there. And then after that, we follow with the second visit to Volusia on our schedule. We go to Kokomo, which was not on the schedule last year. It will be once again. The Bullring in Indiana makes its return, and then Lernerville one more time for another 60 laps. Following that Lernerville race is Weedsport number 2, the Creative Turning 75. And then the Murder Graphics World 100 comes March 19th. That is going to be at Lanier, a track that Matt DeRitter, guy who runs Murder Graphics, he's pretty darn good there. As Beef said, 200 lapper in the schedule. We're planning on doing that at USA coming at the end of March. That will be one to tune in for. And then following that, on the 1st of April, April Fool's Day, we're going to go to Eldora, and maybe we'll try to pull a trick or two for the broadcast. Port Royal Speedway gets the penultimate race in its second event of the season, and then we round out right here where we are right now for Media Day at Charlotte for Champions Night. Last year, Champions Night, the grid wasn't super deep, but the racing was fairly good. Jonathon, you're getting the rundown on this schedule. We've had a lot of these racetracks. We've had a lot of these races already last year. What sticks out to you? What sticks out to you for new? What sticks out to you for tradition? What doesn't stick out to you at all? How do you feel?
Well, I'm already looking at Kokomo because we heard Travis obviously have a pretty... he was pretty opinionated about that and the fact that he doesn't like that racetrack. But there are some folks who do love Kokomo, so it'll be interesting to see that one on the schedule. I'm always interested in a new spot. Kern County, I've got that one circled, but I really like how this season starts off. I think, launching in at Volusia, then right to Lernerville and to Lima Land and Cedar Lake, even in the 4th race of the season. I think we're going to be able to tell a lot by the time we get to race number 5 at Kern County. I think we're going to know who the favorites are, who's maybe not picking it up as fast as we maybe expected. Either way, I'm really looking forward to getting this thing going, and I don't think this schedule necessarily favors any one driver in particular, Joe.
I would agree with that. I think it definitely seems like it would be a schedule to favor the consistent, the Renaissance man, if you will, because we're going to go to tracks like Volusia and Lernerville. Volusia, fast half mile, actually the world's fastest half mile, dirt track that is. And then Lernerville, which has a momentum factor to it. And then the following week, we go to Lima Land, which is one of the shortest racetracks. And it definitely feels like the most crowded racetrack we go to. And then back to Cedar Lake, which is kind of in the middle. And then even looking further to the end of the season, I'm looking at like Weedsport, which is tight, Lanier, which is short, USA, which is long, and Eldora, which is fast, all in a 4 weeks' time. So I think the versatile driver is going to be the one who this schedule favors. But yeah, I don't think it's going to favor anybody individually. That's a great point. And I guess it can segue us really nicely into the next kind of thing to talk about here. Some of our predictions for the season. And Jonathon, I'm just going to put you on the spot. Now, I'm not going to ask you who's the champion. I don't want to do that to you. But I do want to know who you think the heavy hitters are going to be that we need to be watching from week 1 on to the championship.
I think, obviously, we're going to have to watch the defending champ. Brian Beagle, Mr. Consistency. He really just knows how to get a good finish out of whatever kind of run, how many times last year did we think, Beagle's up there, but he's not really threatening for this, and then all of a sudden he's on the podium, right? Mm-hmm. So I think he's somebody that you're going to have to watch a lot. I really think that I think our boy Matt DeRitter is going to take another big step into being a solid top 5 contender. I'm sure he doesn't quite have the confidence to feel that way hearing this, but I 100% believe that he's capable of getting that done. And, you got to wonder about the catfish, Gavin Isley. You got to wonder about some of the folks that we didn't see here. I don't know how many races we're going to get out of Jamie Porter and Travis Miller this season, but you got to factor them in. And maybe the man who's been sitting on top of the speed charts the whole night, Tyler Joshambowski.
I think Joshambowski's a sleeper. Not because of his own skill level, but just because, at least when I first joined with this series, and I've been running with this series, I've been running around with this series for, I think, 4 years now. Joshambowski wasn't really a name you saw at the top of the board very often, and it's slowly come up. I think last year definitely made an impression on what the 88T is capable of. To pull up I'm going to go in here and really quickly try to pull up my numbers. He raced 18 out of the 20 races and hit 7 top 10s, but he was also the fastest qualifier 4 nights that he was with us. So maybe just getting the racecraft bit down a little bit is what he needs, because he is very fast. And then I also definitely wanted to make a point of Matt DeRitter, because he has also been a driver that over the course of the past few seasons that I've been with this series, every year he just gets better and better. I think 2 years ago, he won a race before we were on BRPtv at Lanier, and it was his first win since the first season of the BRP iRacing series. And then come to last year, where he ended up with 3 victories and 5 podiums at the end of it. Definitely his craft has developed, and I think even with that, as sick of a race car as he's got, that might add a little bit extra horsepower to it, but that's definitely another one I'm watching. And then obviously, Ryan Beagle won the championship. Ryan Susie's always good. Cody Higbee was super consistent. If Travis Miller shows up, he'll probably be a good contender too. There's a lot of good guys in that series, but definitely interesting. So the next thing I'm curious about, Jonathon, the schedule, it's different in some ways, but it's not completely. I mean, we have the same, I think, first 3 events this year. So the question I have in that regard, we've got the Roselli brothers, we've got Nick Sheridan, we've got some other new names on our entry list for this season. Does the familiarity factor play in for the drivers, or do you think that maybe it's kind of all just the same, considering, hey, we drive race cars in the real world. We don't play iRacing all year long. Kind of what's the familiarity factor going to be for these drivers?
I think for some of the guys, it might feel a little bit familiar, but I think they'll talk about the fact that even no matter how much you race off iRacing and in the real world, it is a little bit different when you get into the game. I think the familiarity is going to be more so. I felt like in last year's season, Joe, we saw drivers on their second trip to certain racetracks pick it up. They felt better, they felt more confident, and then, the field tightened up, if you will. So I think the first couple races, the standouts, the favorites, they're going to be the favorites for a reason. I think those guys are going to be the guys that take a lot of the early wins and early podium spots. But going forward, deeper into the season, on a second trip through to a place like Volusia, do we see a Travis Cunningham, who's got a little bit more race rhythm on the iRacing game, go to a place that he already likes and, steps into the top 5? That's definitely something I'm going to be watching for. Something else I wanted to mention too, Joe, about our schedule was, this year, I think we talked a little bit about it on last year's broadcast, where I don't actually have iRacing. I'm a Mac guy. I haven't had a chance to really get a lot of seat time in iRacing. However, thanks to the magic of console technology and iRacing mixing it up, we've got the World of Outlaws console game. So yes, it's, driving with a controller. It's not exactly the same feel, but I'm excited to go to a lot of these same racetracks in the console game and get some laps and get some experience before each broadcast to really kind of get a feel for what we might see a little bit more than maybe I did last year.
That is a good thing. I like that. Obviously, broadcasting this, I do have iRacing. I find the value of understanding the cars and the tracks. I think that's a good thing, and I'm glad that you're going to have that. That'll help for sure. With we watch these cars, and I mean, I know you've never driven a big block modified before. I have not either, and I probably never will unless one of these guys wants to throw me an opportunity. But hey, that's neither here nor there. But with that being said, it's good, and I just wonder about, like, for you now having that experience, how does that change what you see these drivers do on a weekly basis? How does that change your perspective for, obviously to share with everybody watching here kind of what a difference it makes to do that? Some of the people watching have an iRacing or having the World of Outlaws video game. How has it changed your perspective on this series?
I think the biggest thing for me is just the actual lines that these guys can run, and if I'm seeing something that maybe I've tried and I don't really understand how somebody is making it work, but it's working, that's going to be something exciting to point out on the broadcast. And broadcasting at my home track, I get to know Merrittville Speedway pretty much. I've seen pretty much every line that can possibly be run at Merrittville be run. But I can't say the same thing for a Charlotte. I can't say the same thing for some of these other racetracks that are on our schedule. But now I get to go and try some of those lines. Maybe I'll get to watch something that somebody like Ryan Beagle tries in a race and apply it to myself and be like, wow, I can't believe he made that stick. Again, it's not 100% the same terms of physics, driving with a controller versus these guys who have wheels, and some of our field having VR setups. But it's just going to be nice to get to know these facilities on a bit more of a personal level, and I think it's going to at least help me really appreciate the strength of schedule that we've got, because just even looking at it on paper, Joe, the names of these racetracks and these facilities, they are synonymous with the biggest and best in dirt racing from not just the big block world, but all forms of dirt racing, whether it be late models, sprint cars, and I love having a diverse schedule. I love the fact we've got a 200 lapper this year. I'm here for the endurance racing.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see that, and I will agree. We race at some of the biggest, most important racetracks in all forms of dirt racing, except for Williams Grove, but that's fine. Getting back to Kokomo is really exciting for me. I went to college out in Indiana. I got to Kokomo. Love that racetrack. Race is fun in the game, and I'm excited for that one. In reference to Kokomo, though, this is a little bit more of a taboo question, Jonathan, but I'm going to throw it at you. We have had in some of the races last year caution problems. We had some races with a lot of yellows. What is your prediction on that factor? Do you think we're going to have it a little bit? Every year is a developmental year. The guys kind of get used to driving with each other. Where do you see that pin falling for the 2023-24 grouping?
See, something I think that's going to help with that is because we're not doing the small block versus big block, everybody's going to be on the same kind of at least strategy. You're going to be on the same style of racing. I think that's actually going to create better racing, and maybe some of those accidents that we had last year could have been avoided if everybody was on the same power. I don't know that for sure, but that's just what I seem to think, and what I'm theorizing, at least going into this year, that maybe that'll make a difference. Ultimately, I think it'll be kind of what we saw last year. Maybe in the early portion of the season to the middle part of the season, right before the Christmas break, it could be caution heavy. But these guys are, some of them very much are professionals. Maybe not professionals in the iRacing world, but they've done enough racing in their lives, be it virtual or be it real, to have car control and figure things out. So I'm optimistic that I think we're going to see better racing, higher quality racing, less cautions, and you never know what you're going to get out of these guys at any given moment. I don't think Kokomo is going to be as big a deal as everybody thinks it is. Although I will admit, as one of the tracks that I've driven a lot of so far in the World of Outlaws racing game, it is a weird track to try to race on.
It's a hard track. It's very flat and bumpy on the bottom, and then the top has a hell of a rim. So it is going to be interesting to see what Kokomo holds for us. But I think that's something I'm hoping to see less of the yellow deal and more clean, good battles because we had a ton of really good battles last year, from I-55 to Lucas Oil Speedway. Charlotte was a great one too at points, and I think I also really enjoyed Williams Grove, but and Port Royal. Love Port Royal, great racetrack. So that's exciting. We're going to be looking forward to having that kind of shape up a little bit. There's something you said in there that I wanted to ask you about, but it went into my head and out the other. But unfortunately, that's unfortunate.
Don't you hate that?
Yeah, I do hate that. Yeah. Dang it.
Hey, you know what? All the drivers need to get back into shape. We need to get back into broadcasting
That's
shape.
right.
I know I was talking about, I've been broadcasting at Maryville Speedway, Humberstone, filled in at Ransomville a couple times in Western New York. But, I've had a couple weeks off of actually doing play-by-play. So, we're all going to get back into shape here, Joe, slowly but surely.
That's right. We're going to get there. Speaking of getting there, I think the track has gotten there. I think we're about at 100% wear and tear. It seems like pretty much everybody has left it to dry for the evening, and I know we're kind of hitting about 9 o'clock here on the evening ourselves. I don't know. Do you have any other predictions, Jonathan, that you think are important to throw out there? Anything you're curious about that I haven't asked you?
Do we get a rookie winner at any point?
Ooh, great question. I'm going to say...
You don't have to say who it is, but I think there's got to be one rookie winner.
Our rookies this year, I guess this is a good time to throw it in. We do have the entry list, and while, not everybody was here tonight, the rookie order, the class of this season is going to be Anthony Roselli. It's going to be Nick Sheridan. Dale Plank may be here. Dominic Rosselli will be here. And then Ryan Hunsinger and Peyton Talbot. I feel like they could do it. I think those Roselli brothers, Brandon Plank, he has this on lock. If Dale's anything like Brandon, his son, we definitely could see a rookie winner there. But yeah, you know what? I'm feeling it. I'm with it, Jonathan. Let's go for it. We got a rookie winner coming this year.
I think at least one, if not maybe two.
Two different ones, or like two wins for a rookie?
Two different ones.
Whoa.
No, two different ones for rookies. I think there's a real possibility. This is a stout field. Like, I am looking through the names, and we're in for a treat this season.
Oh yeah, I have always said that we've got guys like Ryan Beagle and Brandon Plank and Travis Miller, and I know Randy Giroux really has had strong runs. Down to the guys who could get one here or there, Matt DeRitter, Alan Slight, and Adam Hilton. Even having Brian Berger be good and get a couple. Jamie Porter, Susie, obviously. Richie Pereira even had some nice runs last year. I think this is a thing that I have issues with my alma mater's college basketball team. A lot of people doubt the depth of the Purdue Boilermakers basketball team. I don't. I might be biased, but I do not doubt the depth of this field. We have a lot of strong contenders going the whole way through it.
I think this could be... we had a pretty tight points battle, I think, last year, but this has to be shaping up to be one of the tightest years ever in the BRP iRacing League. Like, I could easily see 10 guys grabbing wins this season. The season's not that long, so if 10 different winners show up, it's not like anybody else is going to run away with it and grab 8 to 9 wins. So I'm really interested to see. And I think the other thing that we got to talk about, especially when it comes time to getting to racing season, is talking about heat points and talking about all the different bonus points that can be earned, because those really could be the make or break difference between finishing inside the top 5 in points. Could be the difference between finishing in the top 10. Heck, it could be the difference in finishing on the podium in the championship when it's all said and done.
Absolutely. I think it did make a big factor into what happened last year, because
absolutely,
I think they helped Beagle a lot getting to that final race when we came here, and then unfortunately some poor luck for Cody Higbee kind of took him out of contention early in that night. But those fast lap time bonus points, the heat race bonus points, that all really bumped Beagle up into contention. If you remember, I think we came into that night. I believe we came into that night with a 8-point difference between Ryan Beagle and Cody Higbee, and Beagle,
Something like that.
I think Beagle closed it to 4 by the start of the feature, if I'm correct in my memory. And I remember talking about if he gets down to 4 points between them, this is a race. And that was exactly what we had. And like I said, unfortunately, Higbee had some poor luck come to him, and it didn't really go the whole way through the race. But yeah, those points are always huge. That's a great point. Yeah.
That's why a guy like Tyler Joshimbowski can really change the game a little bit. I mean, if he's going to keep up being setting for quick times and getting towards the front in heat races, that's going to go a long way. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's so much anticipation and so many questions that I feel like I've got the answers to, Joe, but I just really don't.
Well, if you had all the answers, Jonathan, I would be getting you out to go buy some lottery tickets for us. Time will tell what's going to happen with this series, but we've been here for a little while. The drivers have kind of fizzled out and gone back to their regularly scheduled programs. I know there's a Bills game tonight. A lot of the guys are going to want to go watch. So maybe closing thoughts from you, Jonathan. I could kind of let you get out of here. I know you probably want to go see the Bills game too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more of a Sabres guy when it comes to Buffalo sports, but either way, I enjoy the pain of being a Buffalo sports fan. I guess, Joe, all I have to say is that I'm looking forward to this season. There's a lot of new faces, new cars out on the surface with us this year, and it's I can't wait. I mean, this is going to be something to follow along, and I'm going to hopefully do a little bit better on my part to get some social clips out. So make sure you're following along on the BRPtv socials, and be sure to subscribe to the channel, because those subscriptions and having the bell icon on and being ready to join our broadcast right from the very beginning, it goes a long way to helping us get this show and this season, and maybe even some future series and other series onto the platform as well, Joe. So I just hope everybody is ready to follow along for what's going to be a really great year, and a great way to stay entertained in the virtual world, at least, while the big block modifieds take a little wintertime nap.
I agree. And really, to hit that point home, the subscribing to the channel thing, it doesn't seem like much, but it really does have an impact on BRPtv. It helps with the algorithms of getting BRPtv out to other people. It helps us know we're doing things right, or, hey, maybe we're doing things wrong. You know, anything of that sort is always helpful for us, and we do always appreciate having a crowd with us. It's fun to have all the drivers and have all of us, Jonathan and I in the booth with Corby and Matt, and the drivers and the families who watch along. My dad always watches along too, and it's just a really important part of the YouTube piece of BRPtv. So please hit that subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can stick with us as we go through these 20 races. Be sure to check out MDR Designs, Murder Graphics, the Southern Ontario Dirt Show, Creative Turnings, Dig Race Products, 47 Technology. They're all helping us out with this season. We're looking forward to bringing the best out for them and bringing the best out for all of you. So on behalf of Jonathan here in the booth with me, Corby Daniels and Matt DeRitter with the series, all of our partners, all of our sponsors, all of our subscribers, we hope you've enjoyed Media Day. It has been a pleasure to bring it to you, and it will be an immense pleasure to bring you the Pete Costco Memorial in 1 week's time. So you know where to be 1 week from today, sitting down, chilling in front of your screen with BRPtv on, ready to go for 117 laps. It will be a pleasure to have you there. We'll get to talk about the season when it gets started, but for now, pleasure to be here. A pleasant adieu to all of you, and we'll see you at Volusia